So here we have the Air Zoom Spiridon Cage 2 in metallic silver. And this was a trainer that was originally released in 2003, and it's obviously made as a running shoe for back then, and obviously 21 years later it's been re-released. And these were originally designed by Stephen Smith, so he's the iconic designer, basically worked for Nike during this time period, and also has worked for New Balance previously and Reebok as well, and then moved on to sort of Adidas Yeezy as far as I remember. And he's created a lot of iconic silhouettes, or had the hand in them, and this one is another one of those, I suppose, trainers that near enough sort of iconic status in my opinion. And with the details, I like the fact that it has sort of the light sandstone colorway, and it also has Cardinal red, so these are the hits on the outsole. And you can sort of see on the forefoot they've got the little check as well for the Nike, and on the back of the heel, so that kind of corresponds with the Cardinal red colorway. And then you've got the black, which is on the swoosh, and then on the outsole. And then also the predominant color being on here is the metallic silver, so you can kind of see on these, I won't say leather panels, but synthetic panels that you can see all around the sneaker, and that's kind of made up of the metallic silver color. And what's unique about this particular trainer, it has like a caged Zoom Air unit. So as you can see here, the Zoom Air unit has got these little grooves running down it. It's quite a large unit as well on top of that, and this cage system is supposed to kind of keep it, I suppose, one, sort of protected, and two, makes it sort of more lightweight as well, so you don't have a thick midsole on here. And then there's also in the forefoot you have this cage system as well, which is supposed to be for ventilation apparently. I'm not too certain, but there's definitely no air unit in there as far as I can sort of see. So for that reason, I think for me it's one of those ones where it's quite sort of the insole's providing quite a lot of the comfort on the forefoot, and also I suppose some of the comfort in the heel. I don't know, I can't pull out the insole itself, but it does feel nice on foot. And it also has what they're calling a ghillie lacing system, so it has these sort of loops really, so you can sort of see here it's got this sort of loop system going on, and basically it allows, you know, easy tying up of the laces, and also loosening them up quite quickly. And it also has a gusseted tongue, so this is similar to a neoprene bootie that you see in a Huarache, I suppose. But you can see here the tongue's kind of wrapped in there, and the sort of medial and lateral side is kind of overlaid on top, almost sort of stitched over. And it's quite a sort of nice feeling on foot, so you don't have to worry too much about the tongue, because it sort of stays near enough in place. And it also has what they're calling a Phylite midsole foam, so I think this is EVA in my eyes, because it feels sort of quite sort of soft to the touch, but also lightweight, from what obviously the name, and it's a derivative, I'm guessing, of the Phylon midsole. And it's also made up of synthetic and mesh materials, so this leather isn't really real leather, even when you sort of feel it. It's got this kind of texture to it, so it's more on the sort of plasticky side, I suppose, but it does the job for what it's intended for, which is a runner and to be as lightweight as possible. And the price for these is £155, which feels high. So with the comfort and sizing, I feel these are on the medium side. They're not soft, because you don't get too much sort of bounce back or too much, you know, give in terms of, you know, cushioning of your heel sitting in the trainer or even on the forefoot. But what I will say is the insole is quite sort of soft on foot, both on the forefoot and also in the heel. And the air unit being quite sort of minimalist in terms of its structure and not too much sort of foam around it, it does provide that kind of sort of bounce back and sort of impact protection as well. So it's a nice sneaker. It's quite, I suppose, neutral in a way as well, but it does give you that bit of rebound and bounce back as well from the Zoom Air unit. And I feel this has sort of good neutral support around the arch as well. So again, it's made as a runner, and you can sort of see in here the lining inside has got, you know, sort of contour to your arch, so which just feels quite nice. And because of it being predominantly a mesh upper, I put these on straight away, and there's no sort of wearing time with these. They feel really nice on foot and just really sort of lightweight as well. And true to size works with these. I went half size up because it's what I tend to do with mesh runners because of I have a wider foot. But with sort of thin socks on, my toe comes to about here. So I could go true to size and my toe would be about here. But you know, there's much of a muchness really, just depends on what you're looking for. But for most people, true to size would work. And I also think these have really good traction as well. So similar to sort of any other runner of that generation, they're not going to be too bad, and they work at the end of the day. It's, you know, it's nothing too exciting, but as you can see, it's quite a sort of simplistic traction pattern, but it does work at the end of the day. So with the look and style, I like the Y2K runner aesthetic, which is quite common for this type of trainer at that time period. You know, especially sort of 2003-ish, and you know, it does look from that age as well, but also was kind of sort of looking towards the future as well. And obviously, being really lightweight, being a mesh runner, is very, very great for spring, summertime. And I would dare say you could still probably use these today as running shoes, but just don't expect it to be like soft. So they're going to be on the sort of medium side. And in my opinion, they're good to sort of wear casually. So, you know, these are good to sort of wear them with shorts or joggers, you know, that kind of thing really, and cargo pants. And you can even wear them jeans, but it's just one of those ones where it's got quite a sort of sporty vibe to them. But what I will say is, when you get them in hand, I wasn't too impressed because I've never had a pair of these. But when I put them on feet, I got to see, you know, what all the fuss is about, and they do look much nicer when you put them on feet. And they come with the white laces, but there's no reasons why you can put in a silver or even a black pair of colour in here. So with the final thoughts, I like the unique cage system. So this is something you don't normally see, especially, you know, from any sort of brand really. And I think it's quite sort of unique and looks different as well. Like I say, you don't really normally see that. And again, it was made, I'm guessing more sort of, you know, being lightweight on foot. And the soft insole in here as well, it just feels a bit more sort of spongier. I won't say it's too thick, but it does feel quite nice on foot, and because you don't have too much foam in there as well, it's providing a lot of the comfort. And it is a very sort of comfortable sneaker. I wouldn't say it's like too soft in my opinion. It kind of feels like a more elevated Air Max 180, which I'm really loving wearing at the moment, and this kind of feels similar to that. You get a little bit of firmness from the Zoom Air unit, and sort of cushioning and impact protection, and also bounce back, but the rest of the foam provides that sort of soft cushiony sort of feel, but like I say, it's more sort of medium. And it's one of the lighter shoes that I've sort of found to wear really. I think they've kind of done a job of what's the lightest that we can make these types of trainers, and Stephen Smith and, you know, that team at the time have done a good job of basically taking out a lot of the material and just keeping it super lightweight, and you know, you feel that when you got it in hand and also on foot. With the cons, I think the cost, before they were sort of retailing for around the £120 mark, and this is I think when they released back maybe like five years ago. However, that was at £120, and 5 years on, I know like there's inflation, but £155 seems a lot of money for a sort of lightweight mesh runner shoe, in my opinion. So I think they could do better with the price. So with the final ratings, I think when I took them out of the box, it didn't wow me as what I was thinking, because obviously I've heard good things about the Spiridon models in general. But when you put them on feet, they do look nicer. And for that reason, I've given it a 4 out of 5. I do like this particular colourway. I've looked at some of the other ones online, and the only other one that I like is the Stussy collab, but I don't think that will be releasing anytime soon. And the comfort, I'm going to give it a 5. It's not like it's peak comfort, and it's not like you're going to get really, really soft comfort, but if you just want something neutral on foot, this is a really nice pair. Like I say, to me it feels like the re-release of the Air Max 180, and I kind of like those on feet, and this one feels a more sort of elevated version of that because of the Zoom Air unit in the heel, and then you've got the soft foam on the rest of the trainer. And there isn't too much wrong with the trainers in terms of quality. From the pair that I have, there isn't kind of any sort of loose threading or sort of glue stains. The only sort of mark I can see is here, where you've got the leather panel going over the top. It's just a little bit of kind of, I suppose, the material isn't quite cut right. But other than that, it's you know, really good in terms of materials and tech. And the pricing, I'm going to give that 3. I think for me the pricing is just too high, £155. This is asking a lot of money, because I know there's some tech in here with the Phylite and the Zoom Air unit, but at the end of the day it's synthetic materials and I think it should be lower. But overall I'll give the score a 4 out of 5. I think if they did better on price I would be even going towards the score of giving it a 5, but for that reason it gets a 4. I think it's a really cool sneaker and it's a part of the Nike history, especially the running shoes, and I just like the vibe of it. It kind of has a similar sort of colour blocking to a Air Max 97 Silver Bullet as well.